taught myself to sacrifice the future for immediate gratification. My weakness has always been donuts. I love donuts. Just ask my family. Over the course of several years, I accumulated a lot of debt, successfully depleted my bank account, and gained an extra 50 pounds. However, I was successful at a few things. I'm the only person in my immediate family to even attempt college. It took me 12 years to graduate with a bachelor's degree, and another 16 years to complete a master's degree. I have a great career as an accountant, and have made enough money to get by, even though I live paycheck to paycheck. One day I learned the definition of failure, and it changed my life. Here's the definition of personal failure. A few errors in judgment repeated every day. A few errors in judgment repeated every day for several months, several years. This is what happened to me. Some things I did well, but most things were small, seemingly insignificant errors repeated every day over several years. The formula for failure is a few errors in judgment. If this is repeated every day for 1 month, it starts the weakness. It starts the disaster process. You can imagine what happens in several years. When my oldest daughter lived, I used to tell her, "You fly, I'll buy." And I would send her to the local Dairy Queen to buy us ice cream. This happened week after week, month after month, and year after year. She managed to work off the extra weight because she was active. I, on the other hand, sat in front of the TV and became an oversized couched potato. Have you heard the expression, "An apple a day keeps the doctor away"? Well, here's a good question. What if that's true? The expression doesn't say a donut a day. Now, you've got to be smarter than that. You've got to be smarter than to fall for a donut a day when it's an apple a day. And if you make that kind of error in judgment every day for several years, it'll accumulate into disaster. Sometimes you say, "Well, I'm pretty healthy now. What difference is it going to make?" You got to be smarter than that. Just because disaster doesn't fall on us after the first day doesn't mean disaster isn't coming. You got to be so smart that you look down the road and say, what will the errors in my present judgment cost me in 1 month, in 6 months, or in 1 year, or 6 years? I'm telling you, the money costs and the health costs and the success costs are too gigantic. If you'll look down the road a little ways and say, are there errors in my current judgment, like an apple or a donut, that will cost me in the future? Is my current situation a good illustration of some of the other errors in my judgment? Now, once I understood this, I changed my life. The formula for failure is errors in judgment, being lax in your own personal behavior. This is called accumulated disaster. It doesn't matter whether it's your health or your bank account. If someone's got an empty bank account, he probably has high cholesterol. Why? Because over the last several years, he never paid attention to either one. And it doesn't matter whether it's your dollar, whether it's your money, or whether it's your cholesterol count. All you got to do is commit the errors, and just because disaster doesn't fall on you after the first day that you don't eat an apple, doesn't mean it's not coming. You say, well, I didn't eat an apple today and tonight I'm not ill. Well, you got to be brighter than that. It's accumulated disaster over a period of time. Now let me give you the secret to success. If the secret to failure is a few errors in judgment repeated every day, then the secret to success is a few simple disciplines practiced every day. Now you've started a whole new process called accumulated success. A few simple disciplines practiced every day. And if you decide to go for the apple instead of the donut, You've begun the process of turning your life around. If this is repeated every day for 1 month, it starts building strength. It starts the success process. You can imagine what happens in several years. And if you keep up that process, not only with your health habits, but with your money habits, and with your communication habits, and with your sales habits, and with your management habits, and with every other habit you've got, if you start that process, eliminate the errors and replace it with disciplines practiced, I'm telling you, you will continually build upon that success. How soon can you begin this change? Well, you can start this process of life change immediately. After today, you don't ever have to be the same again, only by choice. You don't have to walk out of here the same as you walked in today, only by choice. You can start a whole new process right now. You say, well, is it that simple? Well, yes, it is that simple. Where else would you start but with an apple? You don't have to start with something staggering. What if you should walk around the block for your good health and you don't? What'll that do in 6 months or in 6 years? I'm telling you, the word is disaster. But walk around the block every day for a month or for a year. Now you have accumulated success. I'm telling you, that's why at the end of several years, I found myself with pennies in my pocket, lots of debt, and 50 pounds overweight. Now how do you change all that? Well, strangely enough, circumstances are going to be about the same as before. Then how do you improve? How do you totally change your life? You start small. Somebody says, what did you go to work on to change all that? I started with an apple. I started amending my errors by doing some better thinking, changing my mind, coming up with ideas I didn't have before. And once that whole process started for me, I'm telling you, I changed my whole life. I was never the same. It can happen for you as a teenager. It can happen for you as a mother, as a father, as a business person, as a salesperson, running a business. It doesn't matter. Management, wherever you find yourself. This is the process called personal change. And what I say to start with is start with your own way of thinking. Your thoughts are what's going to determine whether or not you go for the disciplines called accumulated success or continue the errors that are called potential disaster. And everybody has it within their power. I was so happy to find out that I didn't have to change the country. But you do have to change yourself. You have to change your thinking. And if you'll change your thinking, not the country, you can turn around your income. You can turn around your bank account. You can turn around your skills. You can become capable, powerful, sophisticated, healthy, influential, all the other equities you could possibly want out of your life, using the only stuff there is and not trying to change the uncontrollable circumstances of life. Appreciate all of these circumstances, all of its ups and downs, with all of its mystery of why it works and sometimes it doesn't work. Don't challenge this. You don't have to ask for another planet. You don't have to ask for another country. Just start small. Start with the way you think and choosing an apple rather than a donut. And you start this whole process of personal life change. If you don't start there, where else are you going to start? You might as well start where it's easy, and then go on to the more complicated disciplines. Because if you can't handle the simple disciplines, how can you handle the complicated ones? The key, start small. And that, my friends, is the secret. Thank you for listening.